poem, or what is the importance of understanding poetry for the examination. The reason is that when you are going to write summary or you are going to write theme, then what we notice that in most cases the summary is basically focused on prose. On the other hand, the theme is focused on poems or poetry. Now, the traffic police, it's a poem, and you have to look at this poem, or you have to understand this poem from at least 2 points of views. Firstly, it's a poem which can be used, or which can be given in the exam for summary, and it can also be given in the exam for theme as well. Now, we need to know the difference between theme and summary as well. In the previous classes, obviously, the teachers have discussed many times regarding theme and summary. Still, since these two these two aspects, or these two issues are very closely related, that's why I will again explain the difference between theme and summary in today's class, but I will explain everything after explaining the poem first. So by this time, you must have noticed one thing, you must have understood one thing, that poetry or poems are also very important for the students of HSC, because you are supposed to write summary, you are supposed to write theme as well. And at the same time, I told you that in case of summary, we basically select passages, prose. In case of poetry, we basically use theme, or in case of poetry, theme is more important. But remember one thing, that when you are writing theme, the poem can be selected from the book, or it can be also selected from beyond the text, because according to the syllabus design, what we understand, what we know, that theme, when we are going to write theme, then the topic can be selected from outside the text. But don't think that only poems can be selected, or only poems should be selected for theme writing. Apart from poems, prose or story or essay can also be selected for theme writing. So, dear students, let's start understanding the poem first, because if we don't explain, if we don't understand the poem, then it is difficult for us to understand what is theme and what is summary. Now, look at the slide. The title of the poem is The Traffic Police, and I am straight going to the poem. The first line, amidst killer speeds I stand. So there is a speaker, and the speaker, you see that first person has been used in this poem. So the speaker is saying or talking about his own experience, and the speaker is a traffic police. So the poem is about a traffic police, and the speaker of the poem is the traffic police himself. And basically what we are expecting in this poem, in this particular poem, we are expecting that the traffic police will explain, he will narrate the sufferings, the pains, and probably his experiences as well about his professional life, or about his life as well. Now, amidst killer speeds I stand. So at the very beginning, what he says, that he stands on the street, and the meaning of the word amidst is in the middle of. So I said that the meaning of the word amidst is in the middle of. So the traffic police is saying that he is standing on the street, and the speed of vehicles, he wants to make us understand that the speed of the vehicles is so fast that it can kill people. So that is why he is using the phrase killer speeds. So this is the difference between prose and poetry. In case of prose, nobody will use killer speed, but in case of poetry or in case of poems, the poet can use this. So I repeat that killer speeds, it means, it's a kind of phrase, and it means the kind of speed which can kill a person, and this is excessive speed. And you must have noticed that sometimes on the streets, the vehicles, they accelerate the speed at such a level that frequently we see accident takes place. Now, amidst killer speeds I stand, that means the traffic police is standing on the street, and the speed is high, facing the traffic, stretching my hand. Facing the traffic means that the police is facing the traffic, that means he is maintaining, he is basically directing the vehicles, and he is stretching his hand as well. You know that when you see the traffic police on the street, you must have noticed that sometimes they do something like this, sometimes they do something like this, because these are the signals he uses in order to direct the vehicles. So in the first line we see that he is talking about the speed he has to face on the street. In the second line he is saying that he has to face lots of traffic, that means he has to maintain, he has to balance, he has to direct plenty of traffic, that means vehicles, and he has to use his hands, his legs as well in order to direct the vehicles. And stretching my hand, that means it means something like this. I have seen on kids books and as cartoons everywhere, the children, they are also taught to understand, they are also taught to identify that who is who. They are taught that this person is a doctor, this person is a policeman, this person is a teacher, or this person is a traffic policeman. So in order to make the children understand, the books also use the pictures of traffic police. Educating people and asking them to beware. So this is my responsibility. I am talking about the traffic police. When I am using I, you have to understand that the traffic police is saying. So educating people and asking them to beware. So this is the responsibility of the traffic police, that he has to educate people. This education doesn't mean the education we are imparting. Traffic education, it means that the traffic, the traffic police, he educates the people regarding the traffic rules, because he has to maintain law and order situation or the smooth movement of vehicles on the streets. So that's why he is saying that he educates the people, but don't think this is the formal education that we impart in the educational institutions. This education is basically meant for traffic education. And asking them to beware, it means that the traffic police makes the people aware of the rules, of the erratic traffic and the signboards. So of the erratic traffic means unusual, and sometimes it's unprecedented, and sometimes it is beyond the capacity of the traffic police, and unpredictable traffic situation on the road. So that's the word erratic basically refers to the unpredictability of traffic or vehicular movement on the streets. And there are also signboards. You have definitely noticed on the roads, on the streets, that there are different types of traffic signals. There are different types of boards in order to guide the people. Seen on almost all the roads, and he is saying that you will come across this sort of boards on the roads everywhere. So that you are safe, I see each one of you, but my sweat, my plight on the road sees who. So what he says, so that you are safe, I see each one of you. He says that so that I can maintain your safety, so that I can assure safety to the people, I stand on the street, and there is sweating on my body, and the plight means a situation, wretched situation, the situation which is not positive, which is not good. That means he has to face pains, he has to face sufferings, and that is exactly what the word plight means. So, but my sweat, my plight on the road sees who. He is saying that I am doing so many things for the people, but do you look at the pains and sufferings I face on the street? So that is the kind of question he is asking to you. He is asking to me as well. He is asking to everyone that I am trying to maintain safety of the people who are moving on the street. But are you looking at my safety? Are you looking at my sweating? Are you looking at my plight, my sufferings that I experience on the street? Now, let's go to the next portion of the poem. That in the be it sunny or rainy, the next part of the poem is, be it sunny or rainy, for your safety I must be vigil and agile, on the middle standing erect, as fit as a fiddle. So this is the second part of the poem. Be it sunny or rainy, it means that it indicates the weather. Now, sometimes you will see that the day is sunny. Sometimes you will see that there can be extremely heat. It can be extremely hot and humid. And sometimes the traffic police also faces rain. So when we move on the streets, during the summer season, during the rainy season, so what we notice that we cannot endure the heat of the sun, but you must have noticed that the traffic police, he stands on the street and he has to, do his duty. He has to perform his duty. He cannot say that today it's very hot, so I cannot continue my duty. He doesn't have any option to say like this. On the other hand, when there is raining on the street, there is the possibility of jam on the street when there is raining. And at that time, we also see that combating the rain, braving the rainy situation or rainy day, the traffic police stands on the street and he performs his duty as well. He performs his responsibility as well. For your safety, I must be vigilant and agile. So he again says that for your safety, I stand on the street and I must be vigilant. Vigil means to stay alert. So the traffic police says that it's for your safety, I am always alert on the street and I am always agile. Agile means, his swiftness. That the traffic police has to be very swift because he needs to take frequent decision and quick decision. So two qualities are essential, and the traffic police claims that they have to maintain, they have to possess these two qualities. One is to stay alert on the street, and the other is not only staying alert, you can stay alert, but if you are not quick in taking decision, then there will be problems. So he says that we stay alert on the street and we are very swift on the street. On the middle standing erect, and we have to stand straight. There is no chance for relaxation. There is no chance of comfort, taking comfort on the street. We always stay alert. We stay swift. As fit as a fiddle, fiddle is a kind of musical instrument which is, very strong and fit. So he says that like a fiddle, we stand straight on the street. Oh, my ear hurts, oh, my head aches. So these are the problems a traffic police faces on the street. He's saying that my ear hurts, that, there is a huge sound on the street. And we cannot tolerate the sound. When we move on the street, it becomes very difficult for us sometimes if there is any jam that our ear hurts. But can traffic police complain that since my ear is hurting, I cannot continue my duty? He can't do that. So have we ever thought about the sufferings of the traffic police? Have we ever thought about the problems of the traffic police? Have we ever thought about the headaches of the traffic police? Because when he is on the street, he faces the problem of headaches, he faces the problem of earaches, different sorts of problems he faces. Oh, look at the weather, such unpredictable days. He is now talking about the unpredictability of weather. We have already noticed that he is talking about the weather again and again. Why he is talking about the weather? Because the weather sometimes become rough, and we can avoid the weather by staying at home. But the traffic police has no option to stay at the home. He has to continue, he has to perform his duty on the street, and he has to stay there. Now, the problem is that when he is standing on the street, he has to face the problems, different types of problems, basically the weather problems or the climatic problem, and unpredictable days. I have already said that unpredictable days means the unpredictability of weather. But I cannot swear. He says that he does not have any chance, he does not have any possibility or he does not have any opportunity to move from his duty. And when he is standing on the street, I care for your safety, be it noisy or dusty, be it sunny or rainy. I must be on duty, I care for your safety. He is saying that I cannot move from my position. I must be on duty. I have to continue my position. I have to continue my, duty, my responsibility. Whether it is noisy or dusty on the street, whether it is sunny or rainy, I have no chance to ignore the situation. I have no opportunity to ignore the situation. So I must be on my duty because I am very careful about your safety. Now, dear students, this is all about the poem. Now, when we completed this poem, explained this poem, before explaining this poem, I told you that a poem is important for summary, a poem is important for theme as well, but a poem is more important for theme, because in case of summary writing, we basically use passages and prose items. But since this poem is important for summary and theme, we have to also notice, we have to also try to understand the difference between theme and summary as well. But before going to theme and summary, I want to explain one thing, that what is the difference between theme and summary. I will go to the next slide, but let's use the board first, and in the next two slides I have kept both theme and summary. But before going to that, let's start understanding the difference between theme and summary on the board. Now, these are the two items, summary and theme. Now, remember, I have already said that summary and theme, these two are very close. But what is the main difference? We discussed in the previous classes. But even in today's class, I want to explain it because it's a new poem. Remember that what is the length of a summary? The question that the students frequently ask, that what should be the length of a summary, and what is basically, what does summary mean? Summary, the basic difference between summary and theme is that summary means that you are writing something in brief, that is summary. You are writing something in brief, that is summary. It can be prose, it can be poetry, there is no problem. But in case of theme, what is theme writing? Theme writing means that you have to focus on the main idea of the poem or of the prose. The main idea means that what is the poem about. The main idea means that what is the prose about, what is the story about. That is the main idea or the theme of the poem or of the prose. Now, when you are writing summary, say it can be prose, it can be poetry, I have already said. When you are writing summary of prose, remember there are two options. Basically, you can say that whether it is the standard, is there no other standard? There are different types of standard, but what we suggest, just try to understand that. If it is prose, at first I am telling you, then I will go to poetry. And if it is prose, the standard is either 80 words or 1/3 of the length of the text. If it is, I am telling you again, if it is prose, in that case the standard is either 80 words or 1/3. I am talking about summary writing. And if it is poetry, then I will explain it later. Moreover, you can ask me one question, that when 80 words is important and when 1/3 is important, or when we will use 80 words and when we will use 1/3 of the text. Say for example, if the text is 500 words, say the text is 500 words, so which one you will accept? If you accept 1/3 of 500 words, then it's going to be bigger. in that case you have to use 80 words. But if the text is, for example, 150 words, then which one will you use? If in this case, if you use 80 words, then the summary is going to be, bigger, because the length is 150 words. So if you use 80 words, you are basically using almost half of the text. So if the length of the passage is bigger, then you have to use this one. This is the standard. But if the length of the passage is smaller, something like this, then this one is the ideal standard. Basically, what I want to clarify, that between these two, the one which is shorter is the standard. I repeat, between these two criteria, the one which is shorter is the standard. But if somebody challenges that whether this is the only standard in writing a summary, I should not say that. But since you are writing these things in the exam hall, you are writing summary, you are writing theme in the exam hall. So what we suggest that if you maintain this criteria, then the length of the summary looks good. So that is exactly what I want to mean. Now, if we go to poetry, then what will happen? So when you will write a summary of poetry, remember one thing, it depends on the length of the poem again. If the length of the poem is bigger, then you can use 60 words or 70 words, but if the length of the poem is shorter, then it's better to use fewer number of words. So as I said about summary writing regarding prose, and when I am talking about summary writing regarding poetry, there is a difference. In case of writing summary of poetry, it's better to make the length even further shorter than the prose. But still, remember one thing, if the poem is a bit bigger, then the length of the summary will be to some extent bigger, but not that much bigger, which is not acceptable. So this is more or less about the length of summary writing, but there are some other issues regarding summary writing. Like the students frequently ask one question. The question is that whether we can use first person, the text can be written in first person. So should we use first person in writing summary? No, not at all. You will never use first person in writing summary. You have to always use third person in writing summary. So writing first person in summary is strictly prohibited. You are not supposed to do that. Moreover, if there are examples in the text, I am talking about prose writing, I am discussing two things together. Firstly, I am discussing summary of prose writing, I am discussing summary of poetry writing as well at the same time. Now, when I am using, I am talking about this first person, I am basically talking about summary of prose writing. And I also say if there are examples in prose, you have to avoid the examples. Don't use examples in writing summary. So don't use statistics in writing summary. There may be some passages which include, some statistics, some references, some examples. So while writing summary, don't use these things in your summary. And that is all about summary writing. In the next classes, we will again and again discuss these issues. And in today's class, I will also show you the summary and theme of the poem that I just discussed. And what about theme writing? In case of theme writing, if you write theme, for example, of poems or of prose, the length what we suggest, and in the syllabus you will also see that the syllabus, according to the syllabus, 50 words is the length. That means you are not supposed to cross 50 words. It doesn't mean that you have to write in 50 words. It can be even shorter than 50 words. It can be finished in 40 words. But remember, what is theme? Theme is basically the main idea of the poem, or theme is basically the main idea of the prose. Summary is the shorter version, I mean the brief version of the text, and theme is basically what is the text about. When somebody asks you that what is the theme of the movie, what is the theme of the poem, what is the theme of the story, what is the theme of the novel, so it means that what is the novel about, and what is the main idea of the novel. So that is basically the theme. And summary, I have said that summary is basically the shorter version of the main text. Now, these are the preliminary discussions on the difference between summary and theme. Now, the poem I discussed in today's class, I want to also show you the summary and theme of the poem as well. So now let's go to the slide again. So we are going to the slide, and we are going to the theme. This is the theme, and after theme we will have the summary. So let's read the summary first, and then we will go to theme. So how can we write the summary of the poem? The poem highlights the duties and hazards of a traffic police who is devoted to ensuring the safety of people. Now, the poem highlights the duties and hazards of a traffic police. When I explained the poem, you must have noticed that frequently I talked about the duties and responsibilities, the sufferings and pains of the traffic police. And that is how we are starting the summary. So who is devoted to ensuring the safety of people? And what about the traffic police? What about his duty and responsibility? He is very much devoted. He is committed to his duty, and he is committed to ensuring his duty. And why he is committed to ensuring his duty? Because he loves his profession very much. We all know that there are different types of professions in every society, and every profession has its own importance. So the duty and responsibility of a traffic police is also very important, and that is exactly what we are using in the first sentence of this summary writing. In this poem, a traffic police tries to control vehicles enduring hardship in all circumstances. So you have also seen this, that the traffic police is trying to control vehicles. And how he is trying to control the vehicles? He is experiencing the sound, his head aches, his ear hurts, and still he does not mind. He is continuing his duty, and he is continuing his duty in all types of circumstances. He is expected to be very active and vigilant. We have also seen this in the poem, that people expect him. When we are on the streets, we always expect that the traffic police has to, do his or perform his duties and responsibilities strictly and quickly and actively. So that's exactly what we expect on the street. He suffers from earache and headaches because of vehicles' horns and rough weather. So these are the types of sufferings the traffic police faces, that he suffers from earache and headaches because of vehicles' horns and rough weather. So to perform his duties, he hides his own sweat and sorrows. So he does not display his pains and sufferings. He conceals, he keeps the pains and sufferings within himself. Don't you think that the traffic police, he has also got a life? He has his own life, but we never try to understand the kind of pains and sufferings he faces. We always expect, quick and swift decision from the traffic police. We never try to understand that sometimes they also may be sick. They might have suffered, or they might be suffering from earache or a headache. We don't try to understand these things. He is committed to people's safety and seldom thinks about his personal sufferings he goes through. So he completely ignores his personal sufferings. He ignores his personal sufferings, and what he does, that he has fully committed himself to people's safety, ignoring his personal pains and suffering. So this is basically the summary of the poem. So what have we done in writing the summary of the poem? You just try to look at the summary, that we have tried to briefly discuss or briefly narrate the entire poem in the summary. Now when we will read the theme of the poem, you will notice the difference between the summary and the theme. You will notice that there are many details which we are using in summary. We will omit those details in theme. So the details we are using in summary, we are using the details of the traffic police's sufferings, the kind of hardship, the kind of pains, the kind of troubles he is facing regarding the weather, regarding the street condition, regarding his physical pains. So we are using all these details in the summary. But when we will discuss theme, we will omit many of these details. Now let's go to the theme of the poem. After discussing theme, I will conclude today's class, and in the next class I will start next lesson. So what about the theme? Look at the first sentence. The sense of responsibility in any job, ignoring personal discomfort, is the theme of the poem. Remember one thing, that the theme of the poem, different students will write in different language. There is no problem. But the language can vary from one student to another, but the basic theme should be same. So what is the theme? The theme of the poem is the responsibility in any job. Not only in the job of or in the profession of traffic police, this responsibility is required in any job, in teaching, in different types of profession, and the profession of traffic police is one of them. So that's why we are saying the sense of responsibility in any job, ignoring personal discomfort, is the theme of the poem. So the traffic police has completely ignored his personal discomfort. Every job has its own hardship and benefits. So not only in the traffic police's profession, but in every profession. I have given the examples of all types of profession, different types of professions, not all types of professions. And there is problem in each type of profession. And what does the poem teach us? The poem teaches us that as the traffic police is ignoring his personal discomfort and he is trying to ensure the safety of the people, he is sacrificing his own life because of his commitment towards people. Similarly, all professionals are expected to perform their duties in the same way. Indifference of people towards others' condition and sufferings is also an important focus here. So what have we noticed in the poem Traffic Police? We have noticed that when the traffic police is trying to ensure safety of the people, he is trying to maintain the vehicular movement, smooth vehicular movement on the streets, we observe that the people are not that much careful about the traffic police. They don't understand the kind of problems the traffic police is facing. If a traffic police is not devoted to his service, the roads will turn chaotic. So if a traffic police is not devoted to his service, then the roads will be chaotic. Now you must have noticed the difference between summary writing and theme writing. When I talked about summary, you have noticed that I talked about some details of the poems. Not only, I simply didn't say that the traffic police is suffering. I also explained what kind of sufferings he is facing, he is experiencing on the street. So those details are missing in theme writing, because theme writing is more focused on the poem. Theme writing is basically focusing on the main idea of the poem. So that is the difference between summary and theme. So dear students, in today's class, I discussed a summary and theme of the poem, and I also tried to show you the difference between summary, theme, giving two examples on the same poem. And in next class, I will come with next topic. So I hope that you were attentive while doing this class. So in the next class, I will meet you with a new topic, but at home, just try to write summary and theme of this particular poem in your own style. It doesn't mean that you have to use my language, you have to use my style. Your language has to be different from my language. That is exactly what we expect from the students. And when we will get the opportunity, we will definitely see your scripts, that how you are trying to write the summary and theme of poems and prose as well. So in today's class, I want to tell you that here I end, and wishing you good luck and also stay safe at home. So thank you very much.